as to what type of impacts we can see here at home.
Sure. Well, the hurricane watch tells us that the possibility of hurricane force winds in the watch area within about 48 hours, or 48 hours before we expect tropical storm force winds to begin. And that hurricane watch area includes all of Broward, Miami-Dade, and Monroe counties. In addition to the wind hazard, we have a storm surge watch that's in effect from South Inlet on the east coast, out of Bonita Beach on the west coast, and everywhere that's highlighted in this pink shading. And that's for the danger of life-threatening storm surge of potentially 5 to 10 feet of inundation above ground level, and that could occur within the next 48 hours anywhere in this pink location. So that's a life-threatening hazard that people need to take very seriously. We could also see some pretty heavy rainfall, 8 to 12 inches possible, with isolated amounts as high as 20 inches in southeast Florida and the Keys.
And is there anything that will weaken Irma a little bit?
Well, we can see some fluctuations in intensity as the storm moves along here. Major hurricanes, especially hurricanes of Category 5 or 4, will go through these eyewall cycles where their intensity might go up or down a little bit. We aren't expecting a lot of weakening, though, because the storm's going to be over this very warm water here between the Bahamas and Cuba and up through the Florida Straits. It's some of the warmest water in the Atlantic Basin. So those conditions are going to remain favorable, unfortunately, for Irma to be a very, very dangerous hurricane all the way up through when it approaches South Florida. We do expect some weakening as it moves farther north. Vertical wind shear will be increasing a little bit. It might interact some with some land. But until it reaches South Florida, we're not expecting a lot in the way of weakening.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Brennan. You heard it from the expert at the National Hurricane Center. Life-threatening storm surge, a possibility around portions of South Florida within the watch area. And a storm surge can range anywhere between 5 to 10 feet above ground level. That means that the water level will be rising, moving What's important to note is that the forecast track is starting to get more narrow. That means we're in better agreement as to where Irma will end up. And I don't want you to focus on that straight line in the middle, because Irma could be anywhere in this shaded area in red, between the northwestern Bahamas all the way into the Florida Keys. As a major system, it doesn't matter whether it's a Cat 5, 4, or 3, the impact is significant. That all of South Florida's width is roughly about 100 miles wide, will be experiencing tropical storm force winds going into Saturday, and then possibly hurricane force winds on Sunday morning. And those winds will range over 40 miles per hour plus across the area, reaching South Florida sometime on Saturday. The model consensus in agreement that this will be the general track of Irma. Now, advisories are currently in effect. Now we have a hurricane watch for South Florida, including the Florida Keys, This also includes Palm Beach and Lake Okeechobee, Florida Bay, and we have a storm surge watch. So this means that dangerous storm surge along with tide we'll see the water levels rising, moving inland above ground level. So we're talking about a coastal surge in Broward anywhere between 5 to 8 feet. Let's move on over into Miami-Dade. Areas of Miami Beach and Key Biscayne could see a storm surge of 7 to 10 feet above ground level. So the water will definitely be going inland. Now the far southern Miami-Dade area could also see a storm surge of 7 to 10 feet, and this includes the Florida Keys. It seems a little bit higher around the southwest coast of Florida. And yes, we do have the potential of seeing some very strong winds, and the level of threat for us to see extreme winds here in South Florida is extreme across the area, very high. So we need to take very seriously, and the message is to prepare. And storm surge level of threat is extreme along the immediate coastline and more moderate towards the interior location. And as far as the level of threat for seeing flooding across South Florida, that is moderate, and it's going to be changing as we go into the next couple of days. So what is the level of threat for us to see? Tornadoes, because the outer feeder bands of Irma will be producing some very strong to severe type storms. These type of storms are capable of producing tornadoes, and that level of threat right now is elevated. I wouldn't be surprised if this changes as we have an approaching hurricane. Now, as far as storm surge is concerned, it varies between the category of hurricane that we're talking about, and with a potential category 4 hurricane, we can see a storm surge of anywhere between 13 to 18 feet, depending on the track that Irma takes. So what is a hurricane watch?
It's like a little sky block.
That means that hurricane force winds could be in the watch area within 48 hours. We're talking about sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or higher. It may be sunny and calm now, but the weather is expected to deteriorate, worsen as we go into the upcoming weekend. Now, as far as the watch is concerned, now is the time to act. Review your needs. Check for food and water supplies. Check your medications on hand. Prepare your ship to the ATM, because during a have that cash handy, and also get a generator. Now, pass this information to the public, and the threat for a Irma is more likely. Now, the window of greatest concern is pre-dawn Saturday running into Monday morning. So what type of impacts can we see here? Let's break them down for you. We could see destructive winds, life-threatening significant storm surge, and flooding rains across South Florida. Now, as far as models are concerned and that forecast track, don't focus on the hour-to-hour changes. Irma is a very large storm, and even if we don't get a direct landfall from Irma, we will be feeling the effects. Now, the wind probability forecast is increasing for us to see sustained winds over 40 miles per hour here at home. 100% going hurricane force. Now is the calm before the dry air in place, and on Friday, at least until Friday, we have a little bit of time to finish finalizing our preparations. That's the very latest. Sending it back to you later.
Talked about it, just how important it is to evacuate when you're in a mandatory evacuation zone, and even not choosing to the state. Brandon Byer is live in Ohio. Residents have been experiencing that mandatory evacuation now for the past 25 minutes or so. Brandon?
And they're listening. They are taking this mandatory evacuation very seriously. Now they're taking advantage of this last day and a half or so. Nice, whatever you want to describe tomorrow as decent, maybe weather, to finish up. Finishing touches on every neighborhood we are in right now, which is East Hollywood, east of US 1, right at Hollywood Boulevard and 13th Avenue. Dangerous flooding in their homes, and they are getting out of here. You're looking at a video now of a man who is planning to drive his family to Michigan. Pretty unique evacuation tactic he is engineering here. They rented that RV, And then they rented a flatbed truck as well. They're loading the flatbed truck with all of their supplies, food, toiletries, whatever they need, extra gasoline for the RV. And then the family's loading up in that big truck. And they are going to drive to Michigan. They think they have enough gas to get to the Georgia state line. So their only real concern is traffic. How long will it take them to get going? They expect to leave at about 8 o'clock tonight. But again, that mandatory evacuation went into effect at the new Broward County, east of US 1, about half an hour ago or so. Many say they the fellow who is going to drive that RV.
We got lucky. The company filled the doors before we left, so we'll be able to make it stop. Heard on the news they're having problems everywhere with it, so we'll see how it goes.
Big enough to not take any chances, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been keeping a pretty close eye on it for probably about the last 4 days, and nothing's gonna come out of this.
Oh shit, awesome.
10, 15 people so far in this neighborhood, only come across one who is planning to stay. She and her husband, she's on the highest elevation of anyone in the neighborhood, so they're planning to ride this one out, but most folks east of US 1 Broward County out of here. Brandon Byer, 7 News.
All right, and from Broward County now to Miami-Dade and Miami Beach. That's Katrina Bush is there live with an update on the area there. Katrina?
Well, we have just seen a full morning of some hurricane preparations here in Miami Beach. So important in areas like this that are particularly vulnerable to the storm surge. We had a chance to hear from the Miami Beach mayor. Here very clear about his message.
I can't wait to bottom the video because I heard they.
At a certain point, our first responders will no longer be able to go out during the brunt of the storm. We want people to understand not be public. You will be on your place you want to be. I can't stress it enough. Get whether you are a resident.
And we have seen quite a few residents here this morning. Handbag distribution.
I got the letter broke on me.
Some other volunteers are working to get the sandbags filled and helping people take them to their cars.
Ray chilling.
Person here this morning, and the line just keeps going. And of course, this is just one piece of what it takes to be hurricane ready. 5 a.m. Thursday, the line was starting to pour. Miami Beach residents looking to get their share of sandbags ahead of the storm.
Sandbags will help in preparation of duct tape, pebble, the electrical outlets. Hope for the best.
After about an hour delay from the scheduled 6 a.m. start, the line was moving. People who live here able to load up and head back to try to secure their homes and businesses.
So far so good. I mean, we're waiting for the storm to come through. I mean, it sounds like the surge is going to go pretty high, so that's what we're mostly concerned about.
Miami-Dade's mayor making the announcement Wednesday evening. If you haven't done your hurricane preparations yet, it's time to get serious. People who live here and visitors to Miami-Dade's in mobile homes, all before Hurricane Irma's
Harbor, Bay Harbor Islands, Golden Beach, Indian Creek Village, Miami Beach, North Bay Village, Sunny Isles Beach, Surfside, and I know I didn't say Key Biscayne. Key Biscayne is in Zone A.
In Miami-Dade County, there are color-coded evacuation zones, starting with A, the red zone, areas along Biscayne Bay. Zone B, the orange zone,
why the hell we got on the same outfit?
Extension near
Homestead, give me my shoes back.
To evacuate. Shelters are starting to open with additional shelters opening their doors today. But the mayor should only be used as a last resort. Irma's impact far beyond South Florida.
A storm of this size could affect statewide, and everyone must be prepared.
Miami-Dade County is busy. People making preparations before the storm, even though it's still not clear exactly what the impact will be.
It's hectic. Everybody's, on the run. It's not enough supplies for everybody.
Shortages and short tempers. Grocery stores have been doing what they can to restock quickly.
It really is all
Who said the hurricane coming tomorrow?
I said it's coming tonight.
Ain't no damn hurricane coming tonight.
Instead of driving from store to store for bottled water, just turn on your tap
and fill up bottles in your home.
You know what I
The
mean?
gas shortages have lots of people waiting in line. The governor says he's trying to streamline fuel
That's
delivery.
what you was about to do.
If you do
So
decide
why
to
don't
leave, the mayor says don't wait long.
Not want to see you in a car in the middle of a hurricane. We expect traffic.
You ain't got my light and can't do.
Update from the governor earlier today is that in addition to resources and crews that were already put in place, he announced that they were activating another 3,000 National Guardsmen to help out with shelters and evacuations. That's the latest live from Miami Beach. Katrina Bush, 7 News.
All right, and for more now on how people are preparing, let's send things over to Fort Lauderdale Beach.
7's Lorena Estrada is there live. Lorena?
So I gotta do it.
Well, lots of trips have been cut short. Moments ago, we watched as 40 students from Italy who were here for an overseas trip had to pack up their bags and they loaded 2
things are breaking. No, stupid, but I know y'all see things breaking.
Students, 40 teens from Italy. They were with a teacher again on an overseas trip here at Fort Lauderdale Beach, and they were of course disappointed.
Okay, you
because of Hurricane Irma. Let's listen to very concerned.
Well, this was supposed to be a vacation for you, and now you have to get a vacation there. So, that's wasn't for us. What's your face?
We're gonna die. I'm gonna die.
You can't do anything about it.
I'm trying to save up for a hoverboard. You want a hoverboard? Okay,
So these students arrived September 2nd. They were hoping to stay until the 16th. So now they loaded these buses and they're headed to Miami. They're going to be staying near Miami International Airport at a nearby hotel inland as you are able to accommodate flights. All 40 found that they will be okay. In the past hour, many people having to leave. Florida vacation is over. These visitors from London had plans to spend the weekend in South Beach. Then came Irma.
So we were in South Beach. We got there 2 days ago. So they evacuated us yesterday around 2 a.m. And then come here to get a flight today from Fort Lauderdale. So and now
okay, guys, let's jump on the train.
A bit of a predicament, right? So trying to get back home already.
They are among the hundreds having to pack their bags due to re-evacuation for all those east of Federal Highway. Residents also listening to local officials and not any chance.
Just going a little bit more west.
Right, it's alright. We ain't go down.
My parents' house and or my boyfriend's parents' house, and you know, just stay safe, get off.
Wait, we're not gonna die. Wait. Get down. Oh my goodness. We survived. We survived. We survived. We survived. We survived. We survived. We are survivors. We are not crying. We survived. 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 We survived. Survivors. We not crying. We survived. We survived. We survived. We survivors. We are crying. Come on, let's jump.
Live and work here. Reliability is more than just a job. And FPL is what drives. In good weather and bad.
It's a celebration. Come on, celebration. Come on. Celebration. Oh, does not make any sudden movement. Doesn't make any movement. Oh God. Oh shit, it's so far. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
All day and all night.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Mini city. Oh, mini city. Oh, okay.
Vision changes or eye pain while taking the Nora. Ask your doctor about it. Get your first prescription free.
Florida's largest company is excited to open the art rooms to go kids fourth floor store at 1413 North. Got the new Rooms to Go and Rooms to Go Kids Fort Lauderdale store starting at 10 a.m. Saturday, September 14. Car accident, truck accident.
To track Hurricane Irma, a very powerful Category 5 storm. All models suggest that South Florida will feel a direct impact. As a result, Jessica Hawley has more on that.
Mobile home parks are some of the most vulnerable areas during a storm. These structures are simply not made to withstand hurricane. Many is parking Northwest Miami-Dade. They already left. Others are doing some last-minute preps before they head out. They say police were here yesterday, knocking on doors.
They was real nice guys. They did the best they could. They want everybody. And most of the handicapped elder people have gone. And most people are going to go to the family house. Most people are not going to stay here.
I'm thinking we can leave it maybe to the afternoon or tonight, like 7 a.m.
Try to stay with public. Trying to get
in the back, folks coming in and out, trying to get their hands on that water. Again, this is the Publix here at 1700 Sheridan Street here in Hollywood. And then the lines wrap down the aisles. Customers have been waiting to get their hands on this water. People also stocking up on those other essentials like the batteries, like the cash, like the canned goods. FEMA recommending actually that you should have at least a gallon a day per person for at least a 3-day period. And you can't forget about the pets as well. They'll also need water. Take a listen as folks get ready for Irma heading our way.
For a week, last Sunday this began. They had no water anywhere Sunday. We got some last weekend, but now that we're in an evacuation zone, better
I already have grill gas, propane, gasoline, canned foods, plenty of water. Missing link is the bread. And I've been through Hurricane Andrew, so I know how to get prepared in a way.
And back out here live this afternoon, you can see that this is a very busy store. These cashiers and workers here sometimes they open their doors a little bit earlier. They plan on staying open all day long, and they are trying to get this water out of here to as many people who need it. Now, we also have more information on different things that you need during this storm. Of course, all the essentials that you can find right on our website at WSBN.com. Again, this store located on the 1700 block of Sheridan Street. If you are still searching for water in Hollywood, this is the place to come. We are live in Hollywood. Omar Lewis, 7 News.
All right, Omar, something else that people really worry about after a storm is power outages, just because you're so disconnected from everything. FPNL officials telling us earlier today that they have teams pre-positioned across the state ready for rapid deployment.
That's right. NTN's Brian Enton has more on that.
Okay, let's go now to some things.
They have 11,000 crews on standby and more on the way. They spent billions over the last few years getting ready for a hurricane like Irma, but they still don't know exactly how their system will fare.
Now the great unknown is, again, the intensity and the path of the storm.
We're gonna do the Mega Fun updated RB. Yeah, RB, I got it right.
The wires, the equipment, the substations
Mega Fun
updated RB.
Yeah, we are going to do the Mega Fun updated RB. And it's 105 people right now.
3.2 million FPL customers. Since then, FPL has installed concrete
gonna play it,
that can withstand
and I'm gonna show you guys.
And their substations
I'm gonna show you guys my new snake Ray. I think somebody saw it in the next video, and I talked about it because my freaking computer shut it down and put all that stuff about hobby Irma. Yeah, so.
We can effectively shut
down this I forgot. I did. Thank it. Why did they make me spoil it? Okay, guys. Did this already.
Of a strong hurricane like
I didn't want to
plants on the grid will provide enough power unless those are damaged.
Sorry, guys.
Bottom line, they say they're more ready than ever but it's unclear exactly what Irma will bring.
If a major storm hits, like a Category 4, Category 5, frankly, we are accustomed to prepare for extended outages, and we anticipate that we may have to not only repair, but completely rebuild parts of our system.
Somebody said do it fast. Again, somebody in the last episode asked me to do the ROBLOX and I'll be fast.
From other states on standby, waiting to help if called. In Fort Lauderdale, Brian, 1870.
And of course, for those who are evacuating, the roadways are a hard way to go because right now there is gasoline that is hard to come by. A lot of people, though, having a hard time getting out by air as well.
Yeah, time is running out. 7's Alex here. This is at the news desk. And Alex, we had heard from
Okay. What the freaking fuck? I cannot jump, guys. That's it. Oh my god. Wait. Come back.
Already scheduled flight out of MIA. It is causing congestion. It is causing problems. As of 9 o'clock this morning, there were 24 departures and 33 arrivals that were canceled from MIA. And here is some video from earlier this morning or yesterday for you to just give you an idea of how busy it is. That is the latest from the news desk. I'm Alex Diargas, 7 News.
All right, of course, and you can stay with us as well as WSBN.com for all the latest information. You can also...